Whether it's your first time here or you're a regular here at Mr. Super Oz, I just want to thank you for tuning in to the channel. It exists because I, Oz, from the channel Mr. Super Oz, I wrote a 68-page graphic novel called Everlasting Survivors. Volume 1 is called All Day Long. If you follow the link in the description of this video, you can get yourself hats, shirts, posters, all kinds of fun things. But most importantly, you can get the story itself. And the more people that pick up the story, the greater the chances are that there can be continued adventures with these heroes. If you could, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment, enjoy. There has been a lot of change lately when it comes to Impact Wrestling, especially when it's now rebranded back to Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. But the change, whether it be the name or them losing their greatest, let's say, asset or confidant even in Scott D'Amore, does not change anything when it comes to what I consider to be a money idea, and that being a WWE and TNA co-branded premium live event where they could easily use the former NXT/NXT UK or even WWE versus NXT versus NXT UK 205 Live, all that branded show, Worlds Collide. Because if there's a better name for a promotion versus promotion show, I'm not certain what it is. I mean, obviously, when it comes to Tony Khan land, they use Forbidden Door and Wrestle Dream, but Worlds Collide is a very good name for a promotion versus promotion show. So with that, I am using that title because WWE's already got it, and TNA, their new streaming, TNA Plus, their new streaming app service, is powered by Endeavor, the parent company of WWE and the UFC, together known as TKO Holdings. And so with that, it makes sense to me that after WrestleMania, TKO would want to put out a product that accentuates, or Endeavor would want to put out a product that accentuates both WWE and their streaming partner, TNA Plus. So I have booked 8 matches for a dream scenario, a Wrestle Dream scenario, or Worlds Collide show, where, well, in the main event, let's start there, because I think that that is a match that books itself. The original Mr. TNA, although this time he's coming from the WWE side of the bracket, that being AJ Styles, accompanied by the OC of Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, and might as well put Mia Yim out there. So, original Mr. TNA versus current Mr. TNA, that being Moose, accompanied by Brian Myers, and then Alicia and Eddie Edwards. So, the OC accompanies AJ Styles, and the System accompanies Moose. And in this main event, this clashing of TNA eras, to me it makes sense to put the present over the past. No knock on AJ, obviously, but if you're doing Worlds Collide, and, you know, AJ has basically nothing to prove, I think putting Moose over makes good sense for the show, because, you know, maybe there'll be somebody watching this WWE versus TNA show that's never even seen Moose, and when you have him defeat AJ Styles, it would be very beneficial to Moose and TNA. And I even think with the conflict between the OC and AJ Styles, it could be very believable, especially since the System is running smoothly currently. So with the main event out of the way, let's move on to the opening match of the show. It's the oddest match that I have booked, but to me it'd pop me if they went this way. So it's the only match where you have TNA and WWE teaming up against WWE and TNA. So in this match, you have Trey Miguel, Zachary Wentz, and Wes Lee taking on Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, and Trent Seven, taking on Heath Slater, Rhino, and Titus O'Neil. So in every case, you have a pair of guys from the other place. So in this case, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz from TNA teaming with Wes Lee from WWE. Then you have Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate from WWE teaming with Trent Seven from TNA. And then the last team, which is Rhino and Heath Slater teaming up with Titus O'Neil. Again, you got 2 and 1. I think the easiest person to have take the fall in this is Titus O'Neil because he's basically inactive as it is. And this would be just a fun time down in, let's just say Florida for the sake of argument. I mean, that'd be the right place to shoot this in my mind. The first women's match of the show, I think, would be fun if we have Ash by Elegance representing TNA taking on Naomi from WWE due to the fact that they had both recently been on the other side of the equation, Ash being Dana Brooke from WWE and Naomi being Trinity from TNA. And so I just booked this because I thought it would be entertaining, and also it's a way to accentuate how, like I said, both of them have ties to the other side. And if this partnership was to work out long term, then I would love for everybody to acknowledge everything and it all to be smooth sailing. The Ace Bay Club, ABC, is a duo that is currently the tag team champions of TNA. But more importantly, they are representatives of the Bullet Club, and there's no better person for them to face than the founder of the Bullet Club, that being Finn Balor, also currently, as of time of recording, a holder of both the red and blue tag team straps from the WWE side. But I wouldn't have him teaming up with Damian Priest. I actually think it'd be more fun if it was JD McDonough. I don't know. I don't even know why. I guess because they have such ties back to the olden days, back in Ireland, I guess. But I mean, you can have the rest of Judgment Day out there, Rhea and Dom and Priest. I would really like it if we could get more Bullet Club folks on the Ace Bay side, but if not, no big deal. Again, it's hard for me to figure out winners. I didn't book a winner for Naomi and Ash by Elegance, but I think Ash needs it more. But man, I'm booking every TNA win so far. So let's give Trent Seven the win in the 3-team match and Ash the win here. Again, it's all TNA. All right, but I'll get some WWE wins in the column. And so Balor can beat the Ace Bay Club. There we go. WWE's got a win in the books. I booked what I consider to be a very fun fatal 4-way when you got the most wanted man, Nick Nemeth, taking on the almighty Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, and Josh Alexander. This match it's super nuts, and I think Alexander has to go over. But again, there we go, more TNA victories. So the reason I put Josh Alexander over there is because Drew McIntyre, as Drew Galloway, Bobby Lashley, they're both former TNA World Champions. I mean, Alexander is too, so maybe I guess Nemeth should win if I'm using the logic that I want to put somebody in a more prominent spot. But to me, Nick Nemeth has great name value, so Alexander wins the Fatal 4-Way to try and prove that he is in the right spot and not out of place. So Ultimate X, I'm going to save that for last because it's a TNA original match and it's potentially the defining match of TNA, the company. So before we get to the Ultimate X match, I got 2 other matches. One that Jordynne Grace has said was a dream of hers, taking on Bianca Belair, where Jordynne Grace will win, and because Belair has main evented WrestleMania. She's overcome almost all of the Four Horsemen. I think Jordynne Grace needs it more. So here's a dream match of mine before we get to the Ultimate X match. That being Rich Swann versus Randy Orton. I know it seems out of nowhere, but the RKO out of nowhere is what I really want to see when Rich Swann goes for his in-ring standing 450, because I don't know if it's even scientifically or mathematically or physically possible, but I just think that if you want that forever highlight like they do with Matt Sydal and so many others, you can get those forever highlights from Rich Swann taking on Randy Orton. And of course, with Randy Orton hitting that RKO, that means he wins. And I apologize, Rich Swann, who I think is great, but I just think that Randy Orton hitting that RKO is something you can't discount. And so right now we've got Balor, Orton are the only WWE wrestlers winning. So with that, but then again, you can say Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate did win when Trent Seven won his match. So in the Ultimate X match, we have Kushida representing TNA, Ricochet representing WWE, Alex Shelley from TNA, Johnny Gargano from WWE, Chris Sabin from TNA, and Tommaso Ciampa from WWE. And to even the odds, to make it 4-4, although it's kind of like, a 50-50 win when it comes to that three-team match, but still, so that WWE gets another win in the column, I'm putting over Ricochet in this Ultimate X match, because if there's any high flyer that can go toe-to-toe with the TNA X division, it's definitely Ricochet. As I said before, I even started talking about the show. TNA has had a lot of change here lately, and I even could see a world where before you know it, they are exclusively the training ground of WWE and moved back to Florida, but there's no guarantee of any of that. All I do know is that this would be a fun idea, and if it's successful, you could do a second one right before Bound for Glory later in the year. I think that it'd make for a great biannual event. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed, and come back next week. Later.